Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. I'm so excited to present to you meal planning, an area that so many of us struggle because we're just so busy and we don't seem to make meals part of our priority anymore. With so much convenient food out there, it's just so easy just to go through drive-through and get something to eat and without like really understanding like what we are eating, what we are putting in our bodies, and how that really puts the bottom line towards our goals and our outcomes. So if you're a little bit frustrated with meal planning because you just find it somewhat difficult, you are not alone. So many people feel this way, and I'm here to clear up a couple of things for you and showing you how easy it is. I have been doing meal planning for many years. These are a lot of tricks and tips that I train and teach my own clients, and what I have been doing for years to help me stay in the best possible shape. Also, too, because I love being in the kitchen, I'm really good at making meals very simple and tasty and very versatile. And I think because we are so busy, it's really important that we find a way that we can enjoy our meals that we still like to eat, that the family feels, part of that, that we're not like making so many different types of meals and that you just don't feel deprived. And so that's the things I'm going to teach you today. Okay, so we are going to go through the following meal planning topics today. We are going to uncover meal roadblocks, and what that really means, it just means like where are you getting stuck with your meals, and how can we help you better that part of your area in the kitchen. We're going to help you plan out meals based on your health goals. We are going to write out a meal plan, and then we're going to show you how you schedule meal planning to make sure that it is a top priority. We're going to give you examples of meal planning and then how to set up your fridge for success. And the last thing is how to hold yourself accountable. So, meal roadblocks. And the reason why I like to call these meal roadblocks is just because we seem to have a lot of roadblocks in our life where don't really allow us to get to the goals that we want. And we just have such a hard time working around that roadblock, right? And so this is what we're going to talk about today. So, first of all, you kind of need to look at where you're struggling and you need to start with that place first. And the reason why is because I'm a true believer that if you're going to see results quicker, you're going to be more motivated to stick longer term. And so a good question for you is, is it your breakfast that you are struggling with the most? Are you the type of person that's running out the door and unsure of what to eat and yet you just have like maybe no appetite? Maybe this is an area that you need to focus more on, just breakfast. How about lunches? Are you eating out a lot and you just never seem to be prepared, or you're skipping lunches, or you're working through lunch at work? And maybe how about dinners? I find that most people, this is where most people struggle the most, is dinner time. So usually because there's a lot of family gatherings, maybe there's a little bit more social eating, there's different taste buds on the table, and then you just have a hard time sticking to your meal plan pertaining to your goals just because maybe there's just more food, or you're influenced more, or maybe you just know that everybody eats differently than you do, and so you just find it really hard. And this is where a lot of my clients seem to struggle the most with. But once we train and teach them how to do it properly, it's no longer a struggle. It's just a matter of practicing the right way. How about snacks? Again, this is another area that some people fail on, and we need to help you because these are the areas where we overconsume calories that we really do not need to consume. And so, snacking on processed food. Are you over snacking in period? How about, are you eating late at night and you're a night snacker? Or you're just running on empty between meals, and so then you come home and you're just eating everything that you see, and a huge snack binge ends up being like over consuming all of your calories for the rest of the day or for the entire day. So those are the things that we're going to help you out with today. So first of all is understanding where do you want to focus on first. And it's really good that maybe you can pull out a pencil and paper in this lecture, because it's really going to help you understand where you need to start, and then we can help you get better and better with the other areas. So just look at breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks, which is your area that you say that, wow, I really need to work on that. Maybe you need to work on all of them, but what is the one that is really impacting you a lot? So meal planning, meal planning, and then plus your health goals. So this is where a lot of people kind of give up because it gets a little bit complicated, but it doesn't really need to be complicated. So I'm a firm believer if you're trying to lose weight and you have never meal planned before, just eating healthier is going to help you so much. So you can just start there and then you can look into other methods of, figuring out your calories and figuring out how much you want to eat. But specifically, if you want to focus on weight loss, you want to focus number one, the most important thing beyond everything is you need to make sure that you are in a calorie deficit, meaning that the calories that go into your body and then the calories that come out of your body, there needs to be a deficit. Okay, so you need to burn more calories than what you consume in order for you to lose weight. So a very easy formula to do this is if you have a healthy metabolism, you should be able to eat your maintenance calories, which is a very simple formula of taking 15 times your body weight. And then once you have that number, those are the amount of calories that you would need just to maintain your current body weight. And I never advise people to go beyond a 20% deficit to start just because it's too rapid. And you're literally going to have to eat so much more less for you to drop more weight. And if you have a lot of weight to drop, that's not a smart thing to do. You always want to start smaller. So if you're, say, for example, you are eating, 2,000 calories, maybe take 10% of that away, and that will give you a good deficit to start off with. And then just see how your body responds from there. When you start hitting a plateau, then you start increasing the deficit. And I wouldn't go right away to another 10%. I would probably start increasing it by 5% each time. And that's way you know that your metabolism isn't going to crash and that you are still losing weight in a healthy way. Just remember that weight loss goals take time. You need patience. They're not going to happen overnight. So it is a progress. If you're trying to build muscle, then it's literally the opposite. You want to focus pretty much on three main things. You want to focus on more calories. You want to focus on sufficient amount of protein and carbohydrates. So you need to know how much of those you need. And so when you're building muscle, whenever you're building anything, you need more supplies. And so if you're building a bigger body, you're building more muscle, you will need to eat more food. So you want, again, pretty much the same as a weight loss. Instead of a deficit, you want to increase your calories by either 10 to 20% more. Now, if you don't want to gain a lot of body fat along with that, then make sure that you start off in small increments. Some people even start off at 5% more. Some people start off right at 10%. Now, I will definitely point out something very important here. You cannot build muscle just by eating more. You must lift weights at least 4 to 6 times a week to make that happen. So don't just think eating more is going to build more muscle. You're literally just going to gain more fat. Okay? So when it comes to protein and carbohydrates, you want to aim for about 1 gram of protein and carbohydrates per body weight. And that will keep you at a very safe macronutrient where you get enough protein to build the muscle, but yet you also have enough carbohydrates to also build muscle and give you the energy that you need to push those weights in the gym. Health. When it comes to health, you definitely want to focus on health goals that will support what? So what do you want to support? Do you want to support maybe an anti-disease lifestyle? So that would incorporate something more like an anti-inflammatory diet. So anti-inflammatory diets are literally unprocessed food. Stay away from everything that's boxed and bagged as much as possible, and anything that is high sodium and a lot of eating out. So that would support a healthy lifestyle in terms of just meal planning. And you can also throw in a balanced seasonal food section. So what does that mean? It means trying to eat in season. So we're coming right now into winter, so you would probably be eating more root vegetables, right? Versus a lot of fruit, because in natural season we don't have fruit during the winter time, but we definitely have root vegetables. In the summertime, you would switch it around. You would eat more fruit versus root vegetables such as potatoes and corn and so forth. So that is a little bit of information there for you guys on how you would set up your meal planning. And if any of you guys need more help with the weight loss and building muscle, definitely come to me. I can help you with that. The healthy lifestyle part is pretty very simple. And that's what we're going to focus a lot on this lecture. Okay, so now we're going to go into scheduling your priority, right? So um, making your meal planning a priority and making sure that it happens. And this is one of the areas that a lot of people tend to fail just because we're really not prepared properly. So, what you want to start off with is you want to make a list of the meals that you want to make that week, right? So, main meals and snacks. That's pretty much what we eat in a day. Main meals are your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and your snacks are the foods that go in between. When? So, it's important to know to schedule it on a calendar, either on your phone or a piece of paper, on your fridge, whatever works for you. Is that when are you going to prepare these meals? When are you going to go to the grocery store and get the food that you need to make these meals? And this needs to be something consistent. For me, it's always Saturday, Sunday. It used to be all Sunday for me, but I've been training on Sundays, so now I kind of need to divide my day up a little bit. So I do the bigger part of the work on Saturday, so I go shopping. I make a little bit of meals, and then the rest I make it on Sundays. It just helps me prepare myself better. So those are my scheduled days of the week, every single week, and it is a top priority. It's literally, I look at it like seeing a client. It's an investment towards my health, so it needs to be done. So it's the same thing that what you guys need to do. You need to schedule it in the calendar, put a date on it, make sure that date is repeated every single week, and put a time on it. Like, the more you hold accountability to yourself, the more responsible you will be, and you will see the outcome. So time it. So if it's going to be 8 o'clock in the morning, you're going to go grocery shopping every Saturday or Sunday, then that is the time that you are in the grocery store shopping, right? It needs to be no if, and, or buts about it. It's always good to come up with a plan B, but I find that when people come up with plan Bs, it's just an easy cop out to get a plan A. So just try to stick with your plan A. Go to the grocery store, get the stuff that you need. And then what about who? Ask for help in the family, right? And should be a whole family event. If you have little kids that maybe can wash up some vegetables for you. If you have some older kids, maybe that know how to use knives, they can do some chopping for you. Maybe the husband can lay out the Tupperware and label them for you. There's just so many things that you can ask for help for that will make the process so much easier. And it is really important that I feel that most women should make this a priority, and men too, because I know some men, they hold a big responsibility in the kitchen, but mostly it's women who are in the kitchen doing that, and it's mostly women that I work with. So it's so important to teach your family to be a part of this, because if you were sick one day and they didn't know how to meal plan or meal prep, does that mean that your entire nutrition is going to go to the poop hole because we haven't taught them what they need to know? What about if you're gone on vacation? Does that mean when you come back home, your family is going to be very overweight and sick because they've been eating out the whole time? So do you see the responsibility there? It's a really important family task and family responsibility skill that we need to learn. And then making it a priority and repeating your schedule every single week at the same time is what's really going to bring you success. The more times you do it, it just becomes automatic. So how do you plan a quick breakfast? So I was the type of person that I never used to eat breakfast before, and I started changing that just because of my journey for the female fitness transformation bikini thing I'm doing next year. I need to make sure that I'm eating enough food to actually build muscle, right? So I've just found some really quick ways of making breakfast, and these are wonderful things that my clients love too. So things like shakes, boiled eggs with fruit, overnight protein porridges are awesome ideas. You can also make breakfast protein cookies, and then you can make a 5-minute microwave muffin. And if you guys are stuck in places like, whoa, how does she make all this stuff? Where does she get these recipes? If you don't know, you guys, I have a Pinterest account, Bodies by Vivi, where I have it all broken down for you, right? Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, sauces, you name it, it's all there for you. I have singly picked out every single recipe on there from other people's websites to make sure that they really follow with my beliefs of nutrition, and they follow what I preach towards my clients. So for yourself, these are great recipes that you can follow on Pinterest. So definitely look me up there. I am waiting for you to give you some tasty recipes in your kitchen. So One of the biggest important things that I always tell people about breakfast is you never leave out your protein in your breakfast. So every single one of these breakfast ideas have at least 30 grams of protein or 20 minimal. And the reason why is because if you add at least 30 grams of protein upon awakening, you will rev up your metabolism by 15%. So when someone comes to me and says, Veronica, I want to lose weight, I want to change my body, and I want to increase my metabolism because I think my metabolism is slow, the first thing I'll tell you is that you need to get up, honey, and you need to have at least 30 grams of protein as soon as you wake up. And any one of these forms, but it needs to be 30 grams of protein. And it's amazing how some people really fight me against this and they just really don't believe it. And it's amazing when they do try it and how they see their body really turn around. And so getting that 30 grams of protein is really going to be a big game changer for you. So don't leave out that little small detail that makes such a big difference in your breakfast. It's so important to eat breakfast. The reason why is because not that it revs up your metabolism, it just really sets you up for a very successful day. Your body is really smart. And so if you don't eat first thing in the morning, most people, not everybody, but most people will get signaling later on in the day and they will overeat in snacking, they will overeat at dinner, and then they will start eating more after dinner and they just can't turn off that switch. So eating breakfast, it really helps you balance those hormones so it doesn't feel like your body's being starved the first half of the day and then it catches up later on at night. Okay, so how to write a meal plan for the week. Okay, so this is really important too. And the reason why is because some people get really stuck here and they're like, well, how am I going to make a meal plan? Like, how is this going to work? Where do I start? What meal do I focus on? What protein should I use? What starches should I use? What vegetables should I use? And oh my God, there's so many questions and it becomes so overwhelming. You guys, calm down. It's not overwhelming. Just think balanced meals. Balanced meals have four main food groups. And some people say this, well, there's only three main food groups. Well, I think there's four. And the reason why is because I break down starches in two different categories, or carbohydrates, sorry, in two different categories. So the first one is protein. That's one food group, right? The second one is your starches. So these are either that's in the form of grains or that's in the form of root vegetables. Then and cereals and breads. And then your veggies are pretty much like the leafy greens or the crucific vegetables, right? The ones that grow pretty much outside of the ground. And then you have your fats, which is also really important. So when I sit down and make meal planning, I say, okay, this is going to be really simple for me. I'm going to put down protein and I'm going to write the proteins that I want to focus on eating this week. So, for example, on this list here, I have chicken breast, I have ground turkey, and I have salmon. Okay, I got three proteins. That's more enough for me and my family to rotate. I don't like to do different types of meals too often. It just makes it so much more stressful. And I just find that it's just too much leftovers on the weekend. And so food ends up going to waste. So, and then I look at my starches, and I'm like a person that likes to focus on really healthy starches, but I mean, your family's different, then focus on the starches that you enjoy. So, starches, so I like to use brown rice, quinoa, and yams. For veggies, I like to focus on things like peppers, romaine lettuce, cauliflower, and tomatoes. Those are some of my favorites. I like Brussels sprouts too, but I didn't add it in on this one. And then fats, I like to focus on things like avocado and feta cheese. So with fats, I personally do not cook with any oil. I use those non-aerosol pumps sprays for just lightly coating my pans, just because I would prefer to get my fat from actual like putting fat on my plate. Like I would rather eat a quarter or half an avocado instead of having a tablespoon of, oil in my sauteed chicken. Like for me, I don't get enjoyment out of that. So, and I just find that I feel like I'm eating more and I feel like I can control what I'm eating a little bit better and I just get more flavor and more variety of food on my plate. So if you cook with a lot of oil, you're literally packing on a lot of calories without you even knowing. 1 tablespoon of oil is 120 calories, and most people do not measure 1 tablespoon and then put it on the pan. They just like pour it on, and it usually ends up being 2 to 3 tablespoons, and then they don't understand why they're not losing weight or getting the composition that they want, because those little types of mishaps add up so fast, especially fats. So I look at my food groups and I say, okay, I have my food list groups, and now I'm going to create my meals. So I usually always start off with protein. So I say, okay, I'm going to pick a protein, I'm going to pick a starch, and I'm going to pick a vegetable. Okay, so meal number one has chicken, yams, and Greek salad. So Greek salad is also going to have, obviously, Greek salad, right? You have like lettuce, tomatoes, and feta cheese. There you go. Right? If you want to add some extras in there, that's fine. And I'll probably put some peppers on mine. So you see how I picked four items from every single one of the list. And I just made a meal. That's going to be the lunches and dinners, say, in between the week for 1 week. And then I'm going to pick another meal because I don't want to be eating the same thing every single day, and neither does my family. I'm going to make some taco salad. And so taco salad is going to have ground turkey. I'm going to have some taco seasoning. I'm going to make sure that it's, over top of lettuce with feta cheese and some avocado. Really tasty, very filling, a little bit of Mexican flavor. Something different, but really simple. And then my third meal in that week will probably be salmon with quinoa and roasted peppers. Again, very simple. You can have that for lunch and dinner. You can have leftovers. You can repeat it throughout the week. You can even make more and have some for the weekend if you don't want to be cooking on the weekend, or maybe you guys don't eat out a lot on the weekend. And I really advise people not to eat out too much on the weekend if you are trying to lose weight. You really don't have any sense of control of what's in your food. So meal number four would be something like chicken, cauliflower, rice. So I make cauliflower rice versus just rice, and then I have sliced avocados over top. So that would be more of a lower carb meal, and it's okay to do that, right? You can also do cauliflower rice mixed with brown rice. So it takes you have more volume, less starch, right? More fiber. So that really helps a lot of people, makes them feel a lot fuller. And then the last one I would make is something like, say, ground turkey, right, with yams and feta cheese over top and tomatoes. So those are like just really simple meals that I just came up with like that just by listing my protein, my starches, my veggies, and my fats. Not a ton of ingredients, right, but really simplified, and look at all the meals that you can make. So as you can see, it definitely can be done. Okay, so how to make a simple snack. So making simple snacks is another thing that's really important to live a healthy lifestyle, specifically because this is where we overeat too much. And so again, I look at my protein. So I write down my protein and say, okay, what can I use as a snack that's more like finger foods, a little bit easier to get a hand on instead of like maybe always being fork food, because I think that's where we have a problem sitting down and like having like a snack meal. So things like boiled eggs are great. Deli meats that have that are nitrogen free, right? And sliced chicken breast, super easy options for protein. You can also do things like pepperoni sticks. Just make sure that they're not overly salty, not overly processed. You can definitely get some good kinds. With veggies, I like to focus on cauliflower, cherry tomatoes, broccoli, baby carrots, radishes, snap peas, and celery. Those are super easy to find already, cut up in bite sizes for you and packages in the grocery store. Or you can get your kids to help you, right, and chop those up and put them in little baggies. With fats, I like to focus on simple things like just nuts and seeds in very small amounts because, again, remember, fats are 120 calories per tablespoon, and they're so easy to go over. So just a little bit is more than enough. I'd rather you fill up more on the high fiber foods or the high protein foods versus fats. And the other things that you can incorporate too are things like low sugar protein bars, protein shakes, just really simple, mixed with water, yogurt cups, so you can make your homemade yogurt cups. So just yogurt mixed with a little bit of vanilla, right, for flavor, maybe some stevia or monk sugar. Don't advise honey. I don't advise brown sugar because it's still high in sugar, especially if you're trying to lose weight. Even though it may be a more natural, cleaner variety than white sugar, still sugar. It still breaks down in sugar. It still stores as fat. So try to make your own yogurt cups. I highly advise too that you don't get them made already in the grocery store because they are very high in sugar. They are not healthy, no matter what the label says. Cottage cheese cups, again, you can make these at home, and then you can make like healthy homemade baked goods. And I really emphasize on homemade baked goods because no matter how pretty the label looks and it says, ooh, it's low in calorie, ooh, it's gluten free, it's this and that, it's usually a lot of junk put into those baked goods that you buy at the grocery store. and there's a lot of like high fat. So if it's a low carb, it's definitely a high fat item. If it is a low fat, then it's very high in sugar. They use a lot of cheap ingredients, so just make something healthy and simple. Remember, I have my Pinterest account for you guys to look up all these great recipes. It's just a matter of going and doing them. And they're super simple. I make healthy baked goods every single week for my family and sometimes for myself when I'm allowed to. So, with the snacks, the simplest thing that you can do here is really bag all of your snacks for the week in Ziploc bags and store them in the fridge for a quick grab. If they're an item that doesn't need to be in the fridge, then you can put them in your pantry. And I really believe that portion sizing your snacks is so smart because this is where we overindulge. This is where we overeat. This is where we don't really think about what we're putting in our mouth and we mindlessly eat. So snacks are the biggest ones where most people overconsume calories in. So try that for your snacks and you'll see how easy that is. So here are some simple recipes that you can try, right? So we have the simple shake recipe, and this is literally, you can make it however you want, however flavor that you want. You just cook 20 to 30 grams of protein powder. I love using the Arbonne protein powder. I just find it tastes so good and it's so rich and it just makes it so easy. Then you can also do your 1 cup of milk substitute, and or you can do straight milk. But the problem with straight milk is that it's very high in sugar, so I kind of try to get people not to do that and just stick with something like maybe oat milk or almond milk or cashew milk that's low in sugar, unsweetened. And then you can use half a cup of fruit, any kind of fruit that you like. Some people like to put more fruit, and then again, this is where we go overboard. This is where it starts to be really high calorie, high sugar, high starch, and then it doesn't really end up being a really healthy meal. And then I add some ice to give you some volume, right? And then add some type of fiber to help support your digestive system, to help you keep you fuller longer time. So you can do things like flax or chia seeds. Overnight protein porridge. You can use this as a snack, and you can also use this as a breakfast. So again, I put 20 grams of protein powder, a quarter cup of old-fashioned oats, a quarter cup of yogurt, and then some almond milk, right, or milk substitute, and then half a cup of fruit. And so this is very simple. All you need to do is just mix up your protein powder with your milk substitute, put in a large mason jar, right? Mix it up and then add your yogurt and then add your fruit on top and place it in the fridge overnight. And so when it sits in the fridge overnight, the wet ingredients will allow the oats to cook in a cold form, not in a hot form. So it actually helps stabilize your blood sugar better, because when you cook oatmeal, or when you cook any type of grain, the starch increases like threefold. And so that just means that your body has to regulate its blood sugar harder to make sure that you don't gain weight, right? So that's why, especially when you're looking at weight loss, when you're looking at just health, just eating for healthy, I mean, you can do it cold or heated, it doesn't really matter. But when you're looking at weight loss, body transformation, you really want to control those blood sugars as much as possible. Okay, so here we're going to talk about how to set up your fridge for success. And the things that you want to do is you want to set up your containers for all of the meals that you're going to be taking to work or for school for your kids. And I really believe that it's important to have containers that have dividers, because you may have some wet ingredients, you may have some beef, you may have some ingredients that you want to kind of like divide up. And I just think it looks nicer, it looks cleaner. It's totally up to you, and you can either use plastic or you can use glass. Unfortunately for kids, we don't think glass is very safe. But definitely use a higher quality plastic if you are going to. We want to make sure that our kids don't get toxins, and neither do we. Also want to use some kind of stickers or color code containers to differentiate your meals. So knowing what is a lunch, what is a dinner, what is a snack, so forth. So they'll color coding or just put labels on them or stickers on them will really help you. And it just makes it such an easy grab and go when you're leaving in the morning. For snacks, you want to bag all of your snacks for portion control, and this also helps to avoid eating processed food. So going into the pantry and grabbing like, a big bag of, healthy, I don't know, tacos or chips or something like that, right? And you end up eating the whole bag. So when you have it in portion control, you only eat so much. You mindfully eat because you know that you're getting down to your little tiny little, snack bag, and you will not overeat. So that's why it's important to use snack bags for all of your snacks. Number three, you want to try as much as you can use glass containers for protein and starches for all main meals. So when I cook all of my chicken, I label it like, say, Mexican chicken or pulled pork, and I put it in the fridge in two separate containers that are in glass. They just preserve a lot better. And the same thing with the starches, right? With the rices or the quinoa or the sweet potatoes, I put those all in glass containers. They make such a difference compared to plastic containers. So definitely a big pointer there. And for veggies, buying pre-bagged salads or veggies, or you can have them in large containers that are pre-cut veggies. So this is where maybe you want to get the smaller kids to help you with. And I preferably really highly advise that you use a plastic veggie cutter for leafy greens to avoid oxidation, because you don't want to get to your salad, say 3 days down the road, and your lettuce is all like oxidated on the edges. It's just not really appealing. It doesn't look fresh. And so just to preserve the freshness and nutrients in your food, those are some tricks for you. Okay, so accountability. So meal planning accountability. So meal planning accountability literally comes by repeating and repeating and repeating some more until this type of lifestyle just becomes a habit. And this is what I did for years, and it honestly took me a while to really get it underneath my belt. And then when I started seeing the results I was getting, and not even just the results, how stressless my life became instead of like rushing home, cooking meals, because I used to work in clinics before and it was so difficult, right? And I just found that when I meal planned on the weekend, it made my life so much easier because I just literally had to come home, grab the container, pop the food in the microwave or put it back on the stove, right? Or the top stove. And it was easy and done with. And it was just so, so simple. And even with my daughter now, like sometimes I'm at home for her when she comes home from school and there's snacks already in the fridge. I don't have to worry about her. I don't have to rush home, make sure that she's fed, right? And so because she's been part of this process with me the entire time, so she knows what healthy eating is and she knows where the healthy food is, and we prep it all together at the beginning of the week. So things that you can do are food logging. So this is really a great tool for anybody who wants to lose weight. It helps you stay within your calorie needs or your macros. It's so easy, you guys, to overeat and not even notice it. You're making a recipe and then you don't even have no oblivious idea of how many calories that serving of that recipe has. And you think you're eating light and you think you're doing well, but the scale isn't going down. You're getting more and more frustrated. This is why food logging is so important, because it really keeps you in check. Scheduling, so making sure that you keep your meal planning consistently every single week, right? So you're shopping on Saturday, you're prepping on Sunday, right? Or whatever day works best for you and getting your family involved. This helps you build success. The more times you repeat it, the easier it becomes, and it just becomes a habit. Other thing is buddy weekend cooking. So I really love this, and I used to do this a long time ago with some of my clients and my friends. This is such a great community and fun environment where you get together, or you either cook at her house or they come in your house and cook, and you guys make some big batches of healthy food, drink some maybe like, I don't know, healthy wine in between and have some fun, right? And it just creates such a great community and you don't feel like you're alone. So these are wonderful ways of meal prepping. And then the last one is hiring a coach. Hiring a coach is super important because it will assist with easy meal planning, right? It will help you also to, if you're on say a weight loss plan and you don't really have time to calculate your calories or macros, well, a coach can do that for you. And plus a coach will hold you a lot more accountable than any other form system out there. So those are great ways of creating meal planning accountability. So accountability, like I told you, is absolutely awesome. And I have been doing accountability coaching with clients for the last 14 years. I have been a holistic nutritionist for 14 years, and then I decided to be a personal fitness trainer about 8, 9 years ago. And the reason why I decided to take on personal training was because I was coaching a lot of my clients to get healthy through nutrition. And I saw a scope of different clients. It wasn't just weight loss. Actually, weight loss kind of became my expertise towards like these last maybe 6 years. But it was mostly just helping people eat healthy, understand food better, understand nutrients in general, and learning how to cook, and helping people with diabetes and blood sugar issues and blood pressure and cancer patients. Remember my first client having lupus, which was wow, holy smokes, I couldn't believe the turnaround she did in such a short time just with food, you guys. Like, it was just unbelievable. And so as I started getting into weight loss, I started noticing that my clients were just, they were just interested in losing weight, and they were losing the weight, but then they started seeing that, they were just a smaller, skinnier version of themselves, but not tight. Like, they just lost a lot of their toneness of their body, especially women and men too, right? And so then they would go out and seek a personal trainer because they knew that they need to tighten up their muscles. And then they would come back like maybe a year later and they would be bigger than when I saw them. And I'm like, what happened? And they obviously came back to see me because they needed me to help them lose weight again. And so I quickly realized that a lot of the coaches out there, a lot of the fitness trainers out there only really have Canada Health Food Guide in terms of nutrition. So they're really not able to help clients achieve their weight loss goals based on individuality, based on hormonal maybe disruptions in the body, maybe because they have a slow metabolism and these coaches don't really know how to deal with that. Or other areas, right? Like lifestyle factors, moms who have 4 kids and they're just running around everywhere. Like, how do you teach that client to eat? And so that's when I decided, I need to be a fitness trainer because I want to make sure that my clients are getting everything in their package. They're getting, the fitness, that they're getting the nutrition, that they're getting the lifestyle coaching, that they're getting the mental part, that they're getting a little bit more beyond than just the regular nutritionist, maybe because they need some help with their hormones and they need to, get that back in balance. And so that's when everything changed in the way that I would help coach my clients. It really did a turnaround, and I was able to help them so much more than I was able before. And so this picture here with all these people are my wonderful clients and more, who I have helped transform their bodies to make them feel better about themselves. Some of these people joined my group fitness classes that I had in the summer. And we just created such a great community, and that accountability piece is just so important. And so hiring a coach sometimes is one of the best things that you can do because it really makes you see things differently than what you see them now. And you can stop being frustrated because when you only have so many tools in your tool belt, it's really difficult to find more tools because you just don't have any more tools, right? When someone comes in with a fresh brain or maybe with a different idea, with more education, and they give you different types of strategies and you see that they start working, you start getting excited, right? And that's what this is all about. It's supposed to be an exciting journey, not a depressing one. So let's get into benefits and the services that are included in my type of coaching. So the benefits pretty much is you become more educated through a professional. So I educate you a lot about your hormones, about things that are happening, why you're plateauing, in the kitchen, a lot of things that we lack as individuals to really get to our goals. You learn what roadblocks are limiting your goals. So I help you get through that and make you see things a little bit differently than what you're seeing them right now. We help you build that self-confidence in the kitchen and in the gym. A lot of us, especially women, are afraid to lift weights. So we can build that confidence for you by building those skills. And then if you really haven't worked in the kitchen a lot or you're just really lost, we can definitely help you with that as well because I love working in the kitchen. That's why I became a nutritionist first. Having someone looking out for you. So I will always be there looking out for you, answering your questions, holding your hand when you need it, and letting go of your hands when you're ready too, right? Because it's important for you to do things on your own and to grow on your own. So that way you don't need a coach for the rest of your life. Help you expand your resources. So like I said, with the tools, like sometimes we only have a certain amount of tools and you don't have any more. You just don't know where to pull from. Well, pulling from different brains is always the best. Help to motivate you. I'm a firm believer that I can't motivate you, but I can help you learn how to build motivation in yourself. And that is what we do through coaching. And I help support and I understand you. So I do understand what it's like to be overweight. I was overweight, maybe not for a long time, but I was overweight and I didn't feel the best. And I think that's the biggest thing is I don't think it's the amount of weight that you have on the scale. It's the weight that you have on yourself internally. Like, how do you feel about yourself? And I never felt good when I was younger. And I went through all those battles, and I'm still going through those battles, you guys, as a coach. So that is why I hired a coach, right? Because I needed that. So I'm definitely there to support and motivate you and understand you and to help you overcome obstacles. So this is the hardest part. Like the initial weight loss or the initial transformation is usually pretty easy for new people, people who have never done anything before. You literally have to do very little to get big gains. But if you have been yo-yo dieting for years and if you have been in this game for a long time and you are struggling to get that last weight off or struggling to get more definition, then this is where it's important where you have a professional coming in and helping you overcome those obstacles because you have already done everything that you know how to do. And if you keep doing what you're doing and you're not getting results, what's the point of keep doing it, right? You got to look outside. The services that I provide is your first meeting with me is a half-hour call where we help create your goals, right? And we help you create an accountability calendar. So what that means, it means that we look at your goals, we set it up on a calendar and say, when are we going to achieve these goals? Right. And so that way we can break it down for you to be more realistic and you don't feel so overwhelmed and so much pressure. The more pressure you feel, the more you are probably prone to fail. Trust me, I've seen it happen over and over again. So being smart and laying out your goals is really important. A lot of us don't like doing smart goal setting, but it is really important. And if you missed the first lecture about goal setting, please go back and view it because it's very important. It talks to you a lot about mindset. Second, we are going to go and I'm going to help you assist you in nutrition plans, right? So try to help you find a plan that works for you and get you to just start consistently recording what you're eating and then just you see how that makes you feel, right? So if you find that you're having food cravings, maybe we need to change your breakfast. If that you're finding that you are starving in the morning but have very little appetite at night, then maybe we need to change the way that you are pairing your foods up, right? And so those are things that I can help you with. You get a weekly follow-up via email. So every week I send you an email just to check up on seeing how you're doing. And you can also do a private messaging with me through the app that you have access to, which is Bodies by Vivi app, where I see everything that you're doing. With that, you can send me a private message. If you don't want to send me a message through the Facebook page, because we are going to have that as well as an accountability and community support page. So any type of questions that you don't feel comfortable sharing with other people, definitely you can message me privately and I will answer you. So you're literally working with a coach here, you guys. It's not like just some PDF program that you're buying and you're never working with somebody again. It's like I am coaching you through your journey. You get access to all of my lectures for free. And then you also get a weekly nutrition and fitness newsletter and recipes every single week to help you with your progress, to educate you more, to motivate you more, to give you more tools and recipes underneath your tool belt that you are going to need for a lifelong journey, right? Because that's what this is. I mean, I don't think we're doing this just to lose 10 pounds and then just go back to our old habits, because you will gain those 10 pounds, right? Because it's what those habits that you have installed now is what has caused you to feel the way that you do. And so we need to teach you a new way of living. Okay. So those are the benefits and services that are included in my transformation coaching. Okay, so these amazing services are now available to you guys for a really amazing price. My regular retail price for this type of service runs about $250 per month, and I have many clients who are currently paying this right now, who are getting the coaching that they need, the services that they want, the accountability that is needed for them to get to their goals. But for you guys today, I am willing to get it down all the way to $99 per month. Or if you like, you can upgrade to $199 for a 3-month service. Now, the $99 per month is a great start off if you really don't know what you're getting into and you just want to try it out, test out the waters. This is a wonderful way for you to start and just feel my services and create a relationship with me. And then you can definitely easily, move on to a 3 month service, which is only $199. So you pretty much get 1 month for free there. And you definitely get it a lot cheaper than what monthly clients are paying right now for the 3 months of service. So it is an absolutely phenomenal deal. Just think of all the things that you guys are going to get with the accountability, the coaching, finally get you to a place where you need to be and make realistic goals. So I'm very excited about this because my goal in life is just to really help people as much as I can. And I know for some of us, budget is tight. So this is just a wonderful way of presenting you this type of service at a budget that is um, pretty much achievable for many people. Plus, on top of it, for those people who do sign up in the next 24 hours, are going to get my detox drink that I drink every single morning. It is a very simple recipe and it's free when you sign up within the next 24 hours. This detox drink has really helped with reducing inflammation, to help rebalance the hormones. It tastes really good, in my opinion. It helps to cleanse out the liver and it just really gives you a wonderful jump start for the rest of your day. And it does have a special ingredient in there, which actually increases your metabolism by 15 to 20% as well. Completely safe, completely natural, almost everything that you can find in your grocery store. So you guys, that is it. I'm so excited that you have joined me today.